Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Good to be here in Sydney for the Comedy Festival. I love doing this, you know. I love stand-up comedy. It's good. I do love stand-up. All right, settle down, all right. I do love stand-up comedy, you know, but at the same time, right, sometimes I do think, right, like of all the art forms, you know, like music, film, etc. This is the crap one, isn't it? You know, because it is just a person standing on stage talking into a microphone, right? Like it's the art form that most resembles a school assembly, isn't it? Right? Like the fact that it's risen to the level of popularity in the current culture that it has just blows my mind, right? Like you guys could have done anything tonight, you know? You could have just stayed at home, gone on the internet and watched, you know, pretty much whatever you wanted from the whole history of human art and entertainment. And, you know, here you are, you know, library story time for grown-ups, you know? I do like it. Okay. Sometimes actually, though, I do wonder doing this, though, you know, if anyone's going to be telling my jokes in like 300 years' time. No, you're right, though. It is unlikely, right? Because no, because, you know, by then civilization will probably have collapsed. So, you know, there won't be much time for humour and, you know, amidst the cannibalism and sky being on fire, will there, right? So if people are still telling jokes then, it'll likely be more like, oh, you're eating John's heart. I didn't think the bastard had one. You know? That sort of thing. You know, I won't be telling any of mine. Also, right, because comedy just doesn't age that well, does it, right? It becomes kind of irrelevant too quickly, right? Which is why there's no kind of, like, audience demand right now for the jokes of comedians who died hundreds of years ago, is there, right? There's just audience demand for the jokes of comedians who are alive today. And, you know, I'm alive today, which is actually the main thing I have going for my career at the moment. But I should be grateful I even have that right, because in some fields, you know, like being alive can be bad for your career, can't it? Right? Like classical music. Yeah, there's no audience demand for the works of composers who are alive today, is there? Audiences just want to listen to the dead guys, don't they? You know, like Bach or Beethoven or Rammstein. You know, all of the classics, right? You know, I reckon that's why the contemporary classical music, you know, sounds so weird, right? Because the poor composers working today are just desperate, you know? They're trying anything to get noticed, right? It's all the classical music that's written today just, you know, sounds like you know, that doesn't it? It's like 3 years at the conservatoire for that. You know, the composers calling up the orchestra being like, come on, Bach never had the idea to bang a hammer on an electric kettle. Play my kettle symphony. Yes, I do like the timbre of a Breville. I mean, imagine, right, if the comedy world worked in the same way as the classical music world, you know, like you all came along to the show and then the comedian was like, thank you so much. Tonight I will be performing a repertoire of jokes written in 1492 by the great German comedian Wilhelm Schmanderson. This first joke is entitled, What is Gunther, the village drunk, doing to Frau Schneider's donkey? Und spitzenjagende Fegen, da steigen, da steigen. Oh, wow, he's doing it in the original German tonight. Whoa. Very cool interpretation of the joke. And there's a few contemporary comedians just banging the mic on a kettle, you know. Yes, I do like the humour of a Breville. What else? You know, sometimes doing comedy, every now and again a person's like, oh, wow, do you pick up much doing that? Yeah, no. Okay. Like the closest I've ever come to being hit on doing comedy is one time after a show, a doctor in the audience sent me a message on Instagram telling me I had a mole on the back of my neck I should get checked out. Three days later, I wrote him back a message being like, oh, thanks so much. I actually had to have that cut out. Can I buy you a drink for saving my life? Left me on scene for a fortnight and then blocked me, so... What else? I'm a 34-year-old man living in a share house. In case you couldn't tell. Thank you. Yes, this man has his head in his hands. Thank you. Little fact about me, did you feel like we've connected yet? What else would you like to know? Also a 34 waist, got my driver's licence at 26. One time, I saw Julie Bishop using a payphone. Think about that about 7 times a day. No, but the house I live in is kind of one of those old share houses that's been kind of ignored by the landlord. It's kind of, ramshackle. It's got holes everywhere. It's a sort of drafty old share house where one of the more common phrases you hear around the house in wintertime is, gosh, it's much warmer outside, isn't it? Like a lot of houses, the power bills go up in winter, not ours. We switch off the fridge, leave all the food out on the bench, it's fine, Little silver linings, I suppose. Silver linings is actually the nickname we've given to the house because everyone has to sleep in one of those alfoil emergency blankets to stay alive. Yeah. I know it sounds good, but it's actually all right, because I live with some of my oldest friends who I love very dearly, so it's quite actually a good situation, and I guess I see myself as part of this kind of current generation that's choosing as they age to continue living in share houses longer as a kind of rejection of this capitalist individualism that leads people to living these lonely lives in studio apartments, and instead we're seeking to reimagine the nuclear family as a chosen family of friends and found community. And I'll tell you what, it's amazing you can make yourself believe this stuff because financially you have no other choice. Anyway, right, so it's all coming to an end actually because we found out the landlord's selling our home, so we've got to... Yeah, I know, right. The real estate agent actually came around to do an appraisal of the house, and as he was walking through the living room, we were all kind of sat there on the couch, and he just turns to us and goes, "Oh, you guys should put in an offer for the house," and then laughed really hard at his own joke. So... Anyway, I've moved in with him, so, it's happy ending, dating now. It's true, actually. Sometimes in the bedroom we like to do a fun little role play we call the Australian Dream, right? Where I get him to dress up as a leech and then suck all the fluid out of my body till I resemble the desiccated husk of an old cicada shell. And we just lie there in bed together, him spooning me, stroking my shell, going, look, now you do have your own home. And then he comes all over me, so I rehydrate. Let's go. Thanks so much, Cindy. You're angels.
Give it up for all